Hey, what's up, everyone? Just want to share a food truck build with you. This part of it is the dual generator system, and I'll get into the two generators in a minute. But some of the tools you'll need: cutoff saw, drill. I prefer step drill, and then other metallic precision drills, and jigsaw. The jigsaw nut is nice. You can score the edges with your cutoff tool, and then go back through with the jigsaw and do some of the other cutting. Some of the problem with the jigsaw, though, is it can get gummed up with aluminum particles. That might vary depending on the blade. If you notice here, I've used stainless steel hinges, and replacing some of the hinge screws with stainless steel pan heads, the recessed tapered pans, and using bolts that way I don't get cut up. But I've used these carriage bolts to hold the steel super struts. I think that's what they're called. And on this other side there's another generator. But the purpose of this, the one generator can run the entire food truck. It's 3500 with a 4000 watt surge, and the other generator is going to be a 2000 watt inverter generator, and it just sips gas. Now this is going to run half of the truck. The other half will, like the surge equipment and even perhaps a fridge or two, is going to be operated by solar panels and D-cell batteries, or some of the lithium-ion battery packs. Not quite sure which way I want to go. Going to have 12 volt power anyway for the pumps, so I'll just add that into the system and use it for the high draw items like blender, microwave, and things like that. So let me show you the build. One thing to remember, though, you know, if you're cutting this metal, I'm gonna paint all this, so any little mistakes I've made I'll cover up, but make sure you go through and do the edges as soon as you've cut it, and that way there's nothing sharp and dangerous, for any kids or yourself, especially the kids. If you get hurt, you made a mistake, that's one thing. But so what I've done here, and don't mind the box, it's all aluminum except for the struts, and what I've done is you've scrapped material. And the purpose for the box like this is so that I can remove it and use it for other instances. The big generator, if I wanted to use it for the house, I just run an extension cord out here, but I do take this with me in various places. What I've done on this other side is created a baffle, and I'm going to have a secondary baffle right there. It's going to go across, and that'll prevent the tires from splashing water and debris up on the generator. But it's not going to go all the way down, just as this baffle doesn't go all the way up. So the exhaust is actually over this first baffle, and that'll provide plenty of airflow. I was telling you about I was going to replace these. I could cut them off, but I'd prefer to have nuts on them, and I don't have a locking system in here yet. A little bit about this structure. The back is secured to the frame. I didn't drill any new holes. See, there's one bolt. I didn't drill any new holes, but I did go through existing holes. So it kind of, here and there, decided where to put the supporting pieces. Now, anywhere that might come in contact with something like here, I used the carriage bolts, and here I used a carriage bolt, kind of to blend in and not look so obtrusive. So this is the first generator. Again, it's not here because I don't want anybody to steal it, and I also use it in other applications. So let me show you how I might be locking these. Move out of the way, kitty cat. Alright, so up and underneath, I've actually put a slot in the middle, and I took a piece of EMT and I just pounded it on the ground, and I made it flat. The purpose of that is to go into here, and I can just take the EMT and slide it in on both sides, and this would have worked the same behind it. And I'm not sure, the cat's helping me film this, by the way, I'm not sure that I might switch to some magnetic pieces where, you know, I could either use a remote or just a button somewhere and kick it and unlock. But I've just cut grooves into these and screwed into the MT, and when I slide it, you know, it locks. So that's basically all I've done. I might put a latch here to lock this in, but let me show you the generator. It's not going to be so easy to steal. Alright, what I've got here is a 4000 surge generator and a 3500 watt running. It's not 220, it's 110, but I can take the 110. Thank you, Cat. You're helping everybody infinitely. I can't take the 110 and split it between the two legs because I don't have any 220 appliances in there. So this 110, I'm going to use the either or, will supply power to the entire vehicle for the food truck. Now, that being said, it's going to be an either or system. This will be on, or this other generator will be on. So this generator will supply power to the continuous running items, such as perhaps a small AC, some fans, any refrigerators, the vent stack, and a lot of that stuff like the vent stack and refrigerators are only 300 to 500 watts. So you put them all together and you're not talking a lot of wattage. It is, you know, getting close to the maximum, but this generator that's going to be here will easily power an 8000 BTU, and I do know that's not much. I don't plan on using more than a 5000 BTU, so the startup on that's going to be quite easy to control. Now, how did I hang the generator? Oh, on this generator too, you know, half the system's going to be run by solar panels and inverter with battery packs, so I'm not concerned that this is going to supply the entire load either. The original plan was to hold this up with these super struts, and these are carriage bolts. They actually go inside. Again, beauty, where it's going to be seen, and come down. And how I installed it by myself. The plan was to use this on the front and the back, and I wasn't able to do so. Ended up, this bar was in the way of the gas tank, and I didn't want any rubbing problems. I really wanted to be able to do this and have peace of mind. So I ended up putting one of these angle brackets on each side of the back, and this is 1/4 inch steel, so it really has a lot of strength. And I unscrewed this all the way down to the bottom, kicked the generator up on its side onto the ground, and then hooked one side. And after that one side was up, then I went ahead and put the same side super strut in and secured it, and then came to the other side, and at this point I had to actually pick up some weight before it was balancing on the ground, and installed that second back one, you know, just holding it up in the air and screwing it on. And then I got the second one started, and it's really nice if you're going to do something like this to have one of the pass-through socket wrenches, because a lot of sockets aren't going to be deep enough. Especially, you know, if I had to do it over again, I might just use the angle brackets all the way back there. But especially, you know when these bolts get really long. Now I could have cut them off, yes, and but you know, if I ever have to take this down again, I really do like the long bolts, and had to do over again, or I might replace them, you know, with maybe some 8-inch. Servicing, I'm just kind of a vacuum pump and pump this out. The gas, I'll use a funnel and a predetermined amount of gas, or if I'm actually not using this thing a lot of the times, then I'll just hook up a propane system to it, you know, and under an emergency situation I'll crank it on. Now this thing does have a remote start system. You can turn the battery on, hit that power button and start it, or you can leave the battery on all the time and then use the remote control to start. The problem with this is that the battery can become drained and you know, not be able to start. But being that I'm going to have solar powered anyhow, I might as well go ahead and put a charge controller on that generator and keep that battery float maintained. Now I do plan on providing a little flap in there, removable, to protect it from, that's all from rain splatter. And in case you're wondering about clearance, I've got over 8 inches of clearance here, so that's a lot more than most cars. And on this side, that exhaust is got 14 inches, and it's going to be blown up against solid aluminum, so nothing that can really get hot and cause a problem there. Aluminum will dissipate the heat properly. Getting ready to have some rain. Before we go, just want to share with you the rest of the system. Gonna have propane, of course, for the stoves. Gonna have this generator running, and how I'm going to separate them probably is by having two 20 amp three-way switches. You know, I'll split the 110 and put it on one side of the three-way switch, and I'll have this on one side of the three-way switch and the inverter on the other side of the three-way switch. And so when I flip them, I'm going to put a bar between them, through them, to make it either or. So either we'll get power from here or we'll get power from there. Now of course, if I'm home, that'll be a plug-in situation and we'll disconnect everything completely. But you know, that's what's going to go down here. A lot of it we're going to wait and see, depending on the cost and everything, but everything except for the struts and the bolts was free. Some of this stuff are window cutouts, and I've tried using scrap that I've had laying around the house. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully some of the next ones we're going to do, you know, not really wiring up the whole panel, but maybe some of the switching functions and things like that. I do have some more videos, like how I put a class 4 hitch on a Volkswagen Golf, and it really wasn't that hard, and how I put a window AC on a rooftop, and that's up here. This AC on this fan, I use it for refrigeration. It only lasted a year, and I was very upset about that. The household ACs, you know, I've had a lot of them 6 to 8 years going and still going, and there's ways of, you know, keeping the debris out that really extends their life. But I'll show you how to put a window AC. You know, if you have a bad AC up on top and you want to downsize and put like an 8,000 BTU AC up there, like an LG, I'll show you how I can do that and save yourself a lot of money and a lot of grief, because no way I'm putting another Domatec up there and it lasting for 1 year. Tomorrow I'm going to be opening this up, taking everything out, putting floor insulation down, and skinning the walls. Haven't done that yet, so maybe that'll be another video. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys, and hope to see you soon. Take care.